Chapter 82. You are listening at Novelful.audio. The two of them were very close, and the two of them were very close. Sister Mira, do you know that Elfman has been acting so mysterious recently? What on earth is he doing? Lisanna tiptoed close to Myra's ear, covered her mouth with her hand, and glanced at the door from time to time, watching Elfman who was about to go out. These days, Elfman always goes out early in the morning and comes back at night, and he always comes back in a mess. He went out to train with Leila. Mira glanced at Elfman and whispered to Lisanna. Why don't I know? Lisanna tilted her head, her face full of confusion. You play with Natsu and the others every day, so of course you don't know. Mira tapped Lisanna's head lovingly, and said helplessly. Hey, then I'll go out and play. Lisanna stuck out her tongue mischievously, laughed and ran out. Mira looked at her back, shook her head helplessly, and then sat on the sofa in the living room, quietly waiting for the cakes in the oven. Elfman, concentrate. Leila's voice pulled Elfman back to his thoughts. Hearing Leila's voice, Elfman immediately cheered up and prepared himself, and Leila also began to move and release magic. To be precise, it was Leila who summoned Mistgang, who used the magic wand in his hand to release illusion magic to continuously temper Elfman's will. When he first started training a few days ago, Elfman would fall into a fictitious illusion and couldn't extricate himself. Leila squatted aside, watching Elfman quietly. He looked panicked, his hands were raised uncontrollably and he kept shouting. Sister and Lisanna, Leila and the materialized Mistgang clone looked at each other, and pointed at Elfman's condition. Mistgang clone explained to Leila that these were all normal phenomena, and his hallucination was like this. Leila breathed a sigh of relief, looking at Elfman's appearance, thinking in her heart, I don't know how long it will take to achieve the expected effect. And now, Elfman is no longer affected by hallucinations. As for the problem of improving magic power, Elfman has been tortured these days because Leila dragged him to do experiments, under the pretext of helping him improve his magic power. Moreover, he saw Leila taking notes, recording something in the book she took out from his space. Leila asked him to use magic continuously and squeeze the magic power in his body so that the magic power source in his body could break through the limit. Then, after resting, the body would absorb the magic factors in the air, so that the capacity of the magic source would be larger and the magic power would increase accordingly. Elfman didn't quite understand what this meant, but Leila said so anyway, so he wrote it down. But the effect was indeed obvious, and he could feel the increase of magic power in his body. Of course, we should make the best use of it. Such a good opportunity cannot be wasted. Leila asked Ultia for the second magic source, and she already had some ideas, but to develop it directly with her magic, she still needed some data for comparison. Before, she had also found Leila, and the two went out together to attack a very weak dark guild. There, she conducted a very friendly experiment on those people. Those people knelt on the ground devoutly, begging Ultia to develop a second magic source for them. After returning, she found some defects and found Leila again, wanting him to help collect the specific situation of the human body's magic source breaking through the limit under normal circumstances. So this scene happened. Moreover, research must be very rigorous. After all, this magic must be used on members of the guild, and safety must be the priority. Okay, let's get started. Leila took back the magic and said nothing more. Well. Elfman nodded with a heavy face. Every time after the whole body received, Leila told him about his situation, and now, after experiencing Leila's destruction, he also felt that his strength has improved a lot. As for the method of destruction, Leila always asked him to receive the Beast King. When he fought with the Beast King, he was almost unconscious. However, he also knew Leila's method. When he was knocked down, he saw the Beast King clone materialized by Leila. The two Beast Kings fought fiercely and mercilessly. Elfman was depressed and thought that he finally knew why he would ache all over every time he woke up. Then, at Leila's suggestion, that he once again received the Beast King with his whole body. After a roar, the Beast King's figure appeared where Elfman had just stood. Leila could clearly feel that the Beast King's body had become even larger, and this time, Leila also discovered the unusualness of the Beast King. It became unusually quiet, which was enough to prove that Elfman was fighting fiercely against the will of the Beast King and gradually gained the upper hand. Leila smiled with relief, sat down, and waited quietly for the result. After a while, the Beast King finally moved. It slowly opened its eyes, revealing a pair of clear eyes. Leila looked at it and showed a look of joy on her face. Success. Yeah. Then Elfman and Leila couldn't wait to continue fighting, wanting to see how powerful Elfman was in the Beast King form. After some testing, both of them showed a satisfied look. Although Elfman could not fully exert the strength of the Beast King, he had improved a level compared to before. Then, Elfman lifted the receiving magic and sat down. Is it over? Mira came over from a distance and asked when she saw the two of them sitting down to rest. Yeah. The two responded. Just right. Are you tired? I just made some cakes, especially for you two. Mira took out a lunch box with the cakes she had made before. The three of them sat together, eating the cakes made by Mira, talking and laughing. After this incident, Leila returned to a comfortable life, but a few days later, he was called by Makarov. This year's S-level upgrade exam is about to start again. There are still those two people on the list, but there is one more Mystigang, and this time only Mystigang passed the assessment. Leila originally wanted the old man to release more S-level quotas. Letting the two runners-up would hit them, but Makarov's words choked her back. Becoming S-class also carries corresponding risks. Although Kana's cards are somewhat good, her own magic power has not yet fully grown, her magic power is not high, and her endurance is poor. Ultia's time arc is more inclined to assist, not to mention that she has been thinking about the second magic source these days, which has delayed a lot. For the safety of the two, Makarov decided to limit the number of S-class wizards. After the exam, Leila spent Christmas again. This year's Christmas, Leila did not spend it in the guild, but spent it with Mira. During the holiday, the two went to a restaurant for dinner, and they gave each other a scarf in tacit understanding. After that, they returned to the guild and attended the Christmas party with others. Chapter 83. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The young man was born in a young age, and the young man was born in a young age. In October X783, in a room of the council, a young man in a white robe was holding the recently published Magic Weekly Soshara, which also had the newly released Wizards Who Want to Be Boyfriends ranking list, and he was also on it, looking at the information about himself. Zikrian, the rising star of the council, was young, handsome, and became a member of the council. He also mastered celestial magic. His own strength was very strong and had great potential. Suddenly, a crisp knock on the door disturbed Zikrian, who was thinking. He frowned slightly, closed the weekly and put it down. Please come in. Master Zeke, someone is looking for you outside. The messenger pushed open the door, walked in, bowed to Zekaline, and then reported to him. Who is it? Zekaline's voice was a little low, his brows slightly frowned, and he seemed to be thinking about something. It's someone from Fairy Tale. The messenger said truthfully. However, he was confused on his face. He didn't know why the people from this guild wanted to find Master Zekaline. Is there any relationship? Okay, I know, bring them here. Zekaline hesitated for a moment and replied, then he got up and prepared tea to meet the friend who came rashly. Time went back to the past. Magnolia, Fairy Tale Guild. Leila took the same weekly and walked slowly to the side. Perhaps as a member of Fairy Tale, the guild hated the council very much, and Urza didn't care about the news of the council on weekdays, let alone the newly appointed counselor. Only this weekly issue recorded information about him, and it was accompanied by a picture. Iluza, come and take a look at this. Leila's voice was a little low, and there was a trace of solemnity in his eyes. Seeing Leila's expression, Urza took the things Leila handed over seriously. When she saw what was recorded on it, Urza froze, her hands involuntarily grasped the pages of the book, and her eyes stared straight at the picture on it. Her eyes were full of disbelief, and then she looked at Leila and asked in a panic, Leila, what is this? Let's go, I'll go with you. Leila's voice was firm. He knew that Urza must be in a complicated mood now, and she needed someone to accompany her to face it. Yeah. Urza nodded, stood up immediately, and headed towards the council, leaving Kana and Altair in a state of confusion. On the way, it can be seen that Urza's heart is no longer calm. Her hand is still tightly holding the weekly magazine, and her mind begins to fantasize constantly. When she arrived at the guild, she realized that the influence of the Dark Guild demon's heart made it impossible for her to rescue Jalal with her strength, and she didn't want the members of the guild to help her and take this risk. She put this matter in her heart and focused more on the guild. She was very happy in the guild, which was much better than the previous days. Everyone in the guild was very good, and she liked this lively guild. Now, Jalal's appearance appeared again, but the name was different, but it couldn't stop Urza from wanting to explore her heart. The two took the train all the way to the town of the Magic Council. The white building surrounded by walls on all four sides of the town center was the Magic Council. Oh no, how should we get in? Urza stood at the door of the council, showing a rare panic expression. Urza was at a loss, she didn't know what to do, and was still thinking about whether to sneak in. If Leila knew Urza's thoughts, she would definitely be scared. She was really not afraid that the old man would be called over and severely criticized. Don't worry, just inform him directly. He will come to see us. Urza didn't know where Leila's confidence came from, but she still followed Leila's instructions and told the messenger at the door about her purpose and identity. Then the two of them came to Zikrian's meeting room under the guidance of the messenger. After the two entered, the messenger left, and only 3 people were left in the whole room. What do you two want to see me for? Zikrian saw the two of them, his expression did not change, and he asked with a gentle smile. I want to ask, do you know Jalal? Leila rolled her eyes in her heart and kept complaining, hey, Urza, are you serious, so straightforward? Jalal? It seems that you know him, he is my twin brother. He really answered, although he lied to Urza. Leila looked at the two people in surprise, wondering if they could continue chatting. Is that so? Urza's mood became obviously depressed when she heard the answer, but she recovered instantly. She had already thought about this problem on the way here. You should be here to find out the whereabouts of my brother. Although I don't know, I can sense that he is still alive. Really? Urza's mood, which had been sinking, instantly came back. Well, we have a special sense, but it's a pity that I can't sense his whereabouts. Zekline said to Urza with a face full of regret. After receiving this happy news for Urza, she immediately thanked Zekline, and then the two left the room. However, Leila looked at Zekline meaningfully when she left. After seeing the two off with a smile, Zekline looked at their backs and murmured, Urza, Leila, fairy tale, I hope it won't affect our plan. Long before, he knew that he would eventually run into the two, and only by resetting his identity could he dispel their suspicion. After all, it would be no fun if they knew that Jalal, who had joined the Dark Guild, had changed his appearance and entered the council. Looking at Urza's appearance now, it was obvious that she believed his words. Although she might react later and think about whether his words were right, it was enough. It was just that Leila still looked a little suspicious. However, with his current status as a counselor, the two could not say anything even if they were suspicious. Without evidence, it was impossible to expose his identity. In March X784, Zikrian received an invitation from the Holy Ten. With his amazing strength, he became a Holy Ten wizard. As a result, his influence in the council grew. President, their eyes have not been there recently, you can rest assured. Jalal, you've done a good job. If you keep going like this, I believe you'll be able to find all the keys soon. Everything for Ziraf. Jalal talked to the communication crystal in front of him, and a somewhat old but still vigorous voice came from the other side. The two also mentioned a terrifying name in their conversation. Zikrian has been sent to the council for several years. After becoming a council member, he continuously sent messages to President Hades and misled the council's focus to reduce the presence of the devil's heart. All this is to get the key to awaken Ziraf. Chapter 84. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two of them were busy, Lucy was standing in front of the closet, looking at the dazzling array of clothes and not knowing what to do. Knock, knock, knock. A series of rapid knocks on the door woke up Lucy, who was stunned, and then walked over and opened the door. Leila's peaceful eyes were facing her, and she looked at Lucy quietly with a smile. Lucy, have you packed your things? A soft voice sounded. Still packing, Mom. Lucy scratched her head, moved aside, left a place for Leila, and motioned her to come in. Leila saw the clothes piled on the bed and the open wardrobe, smiled and walked in. "Let me help you." Leila looked at the clothes in the wardrobe, took out a few pieces and gestured to Lucy, nodded with satisfaction, then folded them up and put them in Lucy's suitcase. Lucy watched Leila folding clothes on the bed, and couldn't help asking, "Did Dad agree?" Leila paused, turned around and glared at him. "You won't go out if you don't agree? Why don't I remember that quirky little girl who would stay at home and not sneak out? Mom, it's been so long, and I went to find Dad at that time," Lucy said to Leila awkwardly. "I know you want to give him a surprise. Fortunately, Granny Sped is with you, which made us worry for a while." Lucy smiled embarrassedly twice, helped Leila sit down, put her arm around her, and rested her head on Leila's shoulder to act coquettishly. It was X778, and Joda had not been home for a long time. Lucy wanted to visit him and give him a surprise. The carriage she was riding was driving on the road of a town, but suddenly the horse was frightened. There was only Lucy, who was only 11 years old, in the carriage. Fortunately, an older sister stopped the carriage and saved her. In a panic, she saw a pink emblem on the back of the older sister's right hand. Later, she learned from Granny Spet that the emblem was the logo of the Wizard Guild in Magnolia Town. Fairy tale. After listening to Lucy's coquetry, Leila looked at Lucy, who had calmed down beside her, and said unhappily, Okay, your father has agreed." "Really?" Lucy reacted and exclaimed, and then she was excited. She could go out for adventure, and more importantly, she was going to join that guild. "Okay, pack your things quickly." Leila looked at Lucy dotingly. "Yeah." The two chatted and laughed in the house, so happy. The next day, after Lucy hugged Leila and Joda, she said goodbye to Granny Spet and the others one by one, and then embarked on her own adventure. "She is very similar to you." Joda took Leila's hand and sighed softly. "Well, she has grown up and is going out for adventure." Leila echoed, wiped the tears from the corners of her eyes, and smiled. In June X784, in the city of Agalifa, Lucy came to the business guild Love Lucky. Before leaving home, Lucy decided to do it herself and have enough food and clothing. However, Joda created an identity for her in this guild and deposited some funds. He also told Lucy about this matter. Although he knew Lucy's thoughts, he still had to prepare for it just in case. This time, Lucy came here to submit a commission. After all, she had not yet joined the Wizard Guild, so she rarely received commissions from wizards, so she usually came to the commercial guild to accept some commissions. Although she did not join the guild, she was at least a wizard, and it was easy for her to accept some commissions in the commercial guild. The commission she just submitted was a commission to help others find out information, and then she returned to the hotel to rest. Sitting on the chair, Lucy dipped her feather pen in ink, and then buried her head in writing a letter, looking at the scenery outside the window from time to time, and writing down all the recent events. After Lucy finished writing the letter, she sealed the envelope and placed it solemnly on the table, waiting to send the letter back home tomorrow for Leila and Joda to see. Then, she lay on the bed, her thoughts gradually emptied, and she recalled the past few months. She followed Leila's advice and went to a farm to help the farmer there. The farmer was very happy because Lucy's arrival made him feel very warm. Lucy also received Taurus from the farmer. When I think of he, Lucy couldn't help but sigh. This guy is too lustful. When the contract was signed, he stared at her with a lustful look, his eyes were full of love, and he kept talking dirty. There are 3 remaining keys, all left to her by Leila, Aquarius Aquia, Cancer Keisha, and Sagittarius Saccadarius. She learned from her mother that Saccadarius's key was originally ownerless, and her mother was no longer a wizard, but later found this key in an incident and kept it. Later, Saccadarius also accompanied Lucy to grow up. Thinking that she had nearly 1/3 of the golden 12 zodiac keys in her hands, she couldn't help but be happy. Along the way, she also collected a few silver keys, but they were all some common star spirits. The girl was immersed in her memories, suddenly yawned, and then fell asleep. "Thank you for your patronage, 100J. Okay." Lucy took out her wallet and handed it to the postman who came to pick up the mail. They usually mailed envelopes, and they also specially trained messenger birds, but they would only send messenger birds for some urgent matters. After sending the letter, Lucy walked towards several magic shops in the town. When she found that there was nothing she wanted, she walked towards the guild to take a new commission. "Miss Lucy, are you here to take a task again today?" The staff saw Lucy and was very familiar with her, so they greeted her very familiarly. "Well, let me take a look." Lucy smiled and nodded, then looked at the commission form on the commission column, and was dazzled for a while. Her eyes fell on it, and after a careful inspection, she finally stopped on a commission form. Lucy took off the sheet and handed it to the staff. "This is good, please help me record the information." "Okay." The staff responded, recorded the commission, handed it to Lucy, and said, "I wish you all the best." The commission sheet in Lucy's hand had the location of the commission written on it, in Harjan. Lucy sat in the train compartment, looking at the scenery passing by, and couldn't help thinking, "I found out that being a wizard is not simple after I came out. It must be very difficult to join such a powerful guild. I don't know when I will be qualified." Chapter 85. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The train was in a mess, but the passengers were still waiting. This passenger?" the attendant asked worriedly, looking at Natsu, who was lying on the ground and couldn't hold on any longer. "Natsu, we're in Harjan, get up, get up." A blue cat patted Natsu's shoulder hard, trying to wake him up. Are you okay?" the attendant asked again. "Love, he's always like this." Habib turned around and smiled calmly. "I can't do it anymore, I can't take the train anymore." "Woohoo." Natsu looked ugly, frowned, felt dizzy, and said a sentence with difficulty. "If the information is correct, the fire dragon should be in this town." Happy came out, looked at the crowd around him, turned his head and urged Natsu, "Let's go. Let me rest for a while." Natsu tried to stand up, leaned on the window, breathed the fresh air outside, and relieved the dizziness in his head. "Hey, Happy, Natsu, let's go, the train is leaving." Leila came out of another carriage in the distance, saw Happy and Natsu and shouted to them. "Okay." Happy responded, but did not hear Natsu's response. "Woo woo woo." A whistle sounded, and the door of the train was closed directly. Before Natsu could react, the train had already started moving. "Help me quickly." Natsu hung his hands on the window, with a face full of facial expressions, and could only say one sentence in despair. The train was getting farther and farther away, and Natsu's voice gradually became weaker. "Ah, it's leaving." Happy looked at Natsu's figure quietly on the platform. "Ha ha ha. I can't do it anymore." Leila laughed while holding her stomach. "Leila, go save him." Happy reacted and said quickly. "Ha. Okay." Leila still couldn't hold it in, and after a while, she used teleportation magic to teleport to the car and brought Natsu back. Leila helped Natsu to stand steadily, and Natsu leaned on him, saying with lingering fear, "Got saved." "Hey, Natsu, haven't you recovered yet?" Leila looked at Natsu, who was still lowering his head and walking unsteadily, and asked with some laughter. "Okay, then let's go and find Igneel." "Hey." Alas, they are really two single cells. Leila looked at the backs of the man and the cat, and sighed helplessly, then Leila followed and walked to an open space in the center of the city, surrounded by a group of girls. "Lord Fire Dragon. So handsome. Please look at me." The screams of the star-chasing girls were heard by Natsu and Happy from a distance. "Fire Dragon?" The two looked at each other and exclaimed in unison, then ran quickly over there. "What good luck, it appeared just as I said it." "Love." Leila did not move, standing far away with a look of watching a good show. He had noticed that there was a blonde girl in the crowd who had squeezed in uncontrollably. After Natsu ran over, he rushed in with brute force, despite the punches and kicks and insults from the surrounding girls, and shouted loudly, "Igneel." Lucy, who was standing aside, looked at a boy with cherry-colored hair and a white scarf who suddenly rushed in. The love in her eyes was instantly broken, and her mind was restored at the same time. "Who are you?" Natsu's face froze, looking at the strange man in front of him. Fire Dragon, you have heard of my name, right? Pola stretched out his hand to support his chin, pretending to be poised. Natsu and Happy ignored Pola's words, and appeared 10 meters away in an instant, ready to walk towards Leila's position. So fast. Pora was amazed, her eyes bulged out, and she felt a sense of being hit in her heart. Wait a minute, you are too rude. Yes, Lord Fire Dragon is a great wizard. Apologize quickly. In an instant, several fanatical fans rushed over and kicked Natsu, and then choked him, killed him with scissors kicks, and bit him, attacking the real Fire Dragon crazily. Forget it, let's stop here, I don't think he has any bad intentions. Pora held her forehead with her hand and said pretentiously. Ah, so kind, so kind. Hearing Pora's words, they stopped their actions and looked at Pora with a crazy look. This is my signature, show it to your friends. Pora took out a white signature board and wrote Salama on it. Ender and handed it to Natsu. No. Natsu was not interested at all, just felt a little annoyed, so he rejected him expressionlessly. Then they beat him up again, and finally they lifted Natsu and threw him out heavily. It seems that we found the wrong person. Happy said calmly on the side. Okay, I have something to do at the port in front, so I'll leave first. Pora snapped her fingers and a blanket made of red flames appeared under her feet. I will hold a party on the ship tonight, everyone should come to participate. Then she flew away on the flames. Yes, we will definitely go. The girls who stayed behind looked at Pora's back and screamed in response. That guy, what's the matter? That's right, he is such a nasty guy, thank you so much for just now. Huh. Natsu and Happy looked at the blonde girl beside them with confusion. My name is Lucy, please give me your advice. My name is Natsu, and he is Happy, please give me your advice. Natsu, are you hungry? Let's go eat. Leila came over from a distance and said to the two people on the ground. Okay. Natsu patted the dust on his clothes, stood up and was about to leave with Leila. Is this your friend? It's just right. To thank you for helping me, I'll treat you. In a restaurant in Harjan, 4 people sat together by the window, and a lot of food was placed on the table. You are such a good person. Natsu searched the food on the table and said to Lucy, but the movement of his hands did not stop, and it was almost a residual image. Yeah. Happy nodded in agreement, but his mouth was full of 2 fish, and he continued to force one in. Sorry, they haven't eaten for a long time, so maybe. Please forgive me. Leila looked at the 2 people ashamedly like starving ghosts, and said apologetically to Lucy. It's okay. Lucy said it was okay, but she was thinking that the discount she had just exchanged for her charm was gone. Even so, the 2 continued to pick up food shamelessly, especially Natsu, whose food flew onto Lucy's face, not to mention that it flew into Leila's bowl, which made Leila furious. Hey, you two, be polite. Leila couldn't help but glare at them with a warning look. The 2 slowed down their movements a lot, but they still swept at a fast speed, and soon the table was full of empty bowls and plates. Lucy looked at Natsu and Happy, who had improved a little, and couldn't help but sigh in her heart that Leila was really a person of quality. By the way, the man called Fire Dragon just now, he must have used the magic of charm, which would lead people's hearts to the magic of the caster. It was banned for sale several years ago. It was really low level to use that kind of magic to attract girls. Lucy suddenly recalled the heart-shaped ring on the hand of the Fire Dragon, and her face was full of disgust. But fortunately, Natsu broke in, so I could remove the magic that was given to me. I see. Don't look at me like this, I am also a wizard after all. Oh. But I haven't joined the guild yet. The guild I want to join is very popular, and the conditions for joining seem to be very strict. There are many powerful wizards in that guild. It is a great guild. What should I do? I really want to join. Natsu and Happy listened to Lucy's speech while eating and responded to her, while Leila watched the scene with a smile on her face. Chapter 86. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two of them were very busy. So you seem to be looking for someone. Lucy remembered that Natsu seemed to call out a name when he entered the crowd. Love, we are looking for Igneel. I came to this city because I heard that fire dragons would come to this city, but when I came here, it turned out that it was not. Natsu pouted and said while chewing food. That guy, he doesn't look like a fire dragon at all. Happy also nodded. You said he doesn't look like a fire dragon, but don't humans look like that? Lucy asked in confusion. Huh? He's not human, Igneel is a real dragon. Lucy was extremely shocked and unbelievable, but then she reacted, how could a real dragon appear in the city? Ah! Natsu and Happy suddenly realized. Ha ha ha. Leila laughed at the expressions of the two. Leila, you're with them, didn't you tell them? Huh, that's not the case. Lucy heard Leila's words and knew at a glance that he was ready to laugh at her, and immediately felt that Leila was also quite funny. Okay, I should leave soon, you guys eat slowly. Lucy took out some money and put it on the table, and stood up to leave. Thank you for your hospitality. Thank you. Natsu and Happy knelt on the ground and kowtowed to Lucy to thank her, which immediately attracted the attention of the waiters and customers in the store. Don't do that, it's embarrassing. Lucy was furious and hurriedly stopped the two of them from doing that. Then she explained awkwardly, no need to thank me, and you helped me, so it's fair. I didn't intend to save you at all. Natsu said embarrassedly. Yes, I can't afford it. Happy echoed. By the way, here's this. Natsu suddenly remembered the autograph he had just brought with him, so he took it out and gave it to Lucy. When Lucy saw this, she thought of the fire dragon just now, and she hid it back with her hand in disgust. I don't want it. Natsu didn't feel anything after being rejected, and then said goodbye to Lucy, sat back at the table, and said to Leila angrily, Leila, why didn't you say it earlier? We made a wasted trip. That's right, we all have no money. Happy also said indignantly. Don't say that, it's not a wasted trip, at least it's not a wasted meal. Leila said jokingly. Natsu and Happy were ready to refute righteously, but Leila said, besides, don't you know that Fire Dragon is your title? What title? Natsu looked confused. Fire Dragon is your title, and the Fire Dragon just now pretended to be you to deceive those girls. Leila saw this and knew that Natsu had never heard of it. So, that guy actually claimed to be a wizard of the guild and stole my name? Natsu shouted angrily. Yes. I'm going to cut him into pieces now. Natsu rolled up his sleeves and was ready to find Pola. He's on the boat now, you go. Leila poured cold water on him, instantly extinguishing Natsu's flames. Then I'll leave it to you, Leila. Natsu said to Leila immediately. Don't panic, let's talk about it in the evening, just continue eating. Leila comforted Natsu, and then asked him to sit down and calm down. Pora's ship would arrive at the port here in the evening, and all the other accomplices would come by then, and they would be caught in one fell swoop. Soon it was night, and Leila and the others watched a ship coming on the sea from a distance, with bright lights on it, and some people standing on the deck. Just as Pora moored the boat to the port, many girls on the shore rushed to get on board, including Lucy. However, before the boat started, a noise was heard, and the people on the boat felt that the world was turned upside down. When Pora ran out in a panic, he saw that there was a big hole in the hull and it could no longer sail. Asshole, get out of here. Natsu. Lucy heard Natsu's voice from the crowd, walked to the deck and looked down, confirming that it was Natsu himself, and was a little confused as to why he would destroy the ship. That guy. Pola looked at Natsu and gritted her teeth but didn't vent. After all, some girls hadn't finished their drinks yet and were still in the port, which would alert the army. Just as Pola was thinking about how to end it, suddenly, all the girls on the deck disappeared. Looking at Natsu, he hadn't noticed anything unusual. Immediately afterwards, a man ran out of the cabin in a panic and said to Pola, Lord Pola, the girls in the cabin have disappeared. Damn, who is it? Pola cursed angrily. Then, all the girls appeared on the shore safely. Leila was comforting the girls. Although they didn't believe it, as someone fell to the ground and fell asleep in a daze, they realized that what Leila said was true. Happy told Lucy, who was standing next to him, and she also understood the whole story. By the way, Lucy, why are you here? Don't you hate that fire dragon? Happy asked strangely. He lied to me that he could let me join Fairy Tale, so I came here. Lucy said angrily. Are you pretending to be a wizard from Fairy Tale? Natsu said as he destroyed the boat with another punch. The traffickers inside with Pola also ran out and jumped off the boat. Damn little devil, come at me all. Pola looked up at Natsu's figure and gave orders. Everyone rushed towards Natsu. Natsu took off his coat and threw it handsomely. With just a few punches, he knocked away all the minions rushing towards him, and at the same time revealed the red emblem on his right arm. I am Natsu from Fairy Tale. I don't care if you are a good person or a bad person. I will never allow you to deceive people under the name of the guild. What? Natsu is a wizard from Fairy Tale? Lucy stood aside and looked dumbfounded. So what, kid? Pora said as she opened her hands, and a red four-leaf clover-like magic circle unfolded. Red Flame Typhoon. A typhoon-like flame surrounded Natsu. Seeing this, Lucy was about to go up, but was stopped by Leila, who told her to just watch quietly. Humph. Pora looked at Natsu in the flames and snorted disdainfully. It's so disgusting. Are you really a flame wizard? This is the first time I've eaten such disgusting fire. Natsu's mocking words came from the flames, which startled Pora for a moment, and then she looked like she saw a ghost, watching Natsu eat all the flames. Thank you for the hospitality. The understated words directly hit everyone's heart. Master Pora, that cherry-colored hair, the scaly white scarf, this guy is a real fire dragon. The little minions around Pora looked at Natsu in fear, and their voices couldn't help but tremble. Eat it, and the power will surge up. Natsu clasped his fists together, and a magic circle with a fire dragon pattern appeared in front of him. Then he placed his hands on his mouth and inhaled hard. The roar of the fire dragon. The hot flames spewed out of Natsu's mouth and attacked Pola and the minions, instantly killing the minions. Pola, as a fire wizard, could still withstand it a little, but then Natsu hit him hard with an iron fist, and he fainted directly. As the battle ended, the army rushed over in an orderly manner. It's terrible. Run. Natsu ran over and pulled Lucy to run away. Why run? It didn't destroy anything. Leila interrupted him. Natsu's strength crushed Pola and won in just 2 moves. Although the roar also affected the surrounding buildings, it was blocked by Leila's barrier in time. I'm used to it. Natsu looked around and found that nothing was destroyed, so he was relieved and said with a smile. How destructive can you be to say you're used to it? Lucy complained, holding her forehead. Then Leila went up to the army and told them what happened. At the same time, she handed the girls over to the army, and they were responsible for the aftermath. As for Pola and his group, they were taken away and would be forced to tell the whereabouts of the girls they had abducted before. Chapter 87. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The 2 of them were busy, and the 2 of them were busy. The matter has been resolved, so let's go. Leila walked over with a relaxed pace and said to Natsu and the others. Yeah. Natsu and Happy nodded. Then the 2 of them were ready to leave, but they found that Lucy didn't keep up. Lucy, why don't you move? Natsu asked with a puzzled look on his face. Lucy stammered, a little hesitant. Don't you want to join our guild? Let's go together. Yeah. Lucy raised her head and looked at the few people, her eyes full of hope. Woo! As soon as he got on the car, Natsu fell on the seat like a puddle of mud. Natsu is really pitiful. Lucy looked at Natsu. There's nothing we can do. This is the physique of a dragon slayer. Leila said helplessly. By the way, why didn't Natsu's clothes get burned? Lucy stared at Natsu, who was lying on his seat in a slump. Oh, those are special clothes made by professional tailors using fire-resistant materials. Leila explained. He only learned about it later. Natsu has many more. Happy sat next to Lucy and showed off to him. Leila couldn't help feeling ashamed when she heard Happy's words. She didn't know if Natsu liked it very much. Many of the clothes were exactly the same style. He always wore the same clothes all year round. Magnolia, Fairy Tale Guild. We're here. This is Fairy Tale. Happy and Lucy introduced. Ah, is this what the guild looks like? I really want to see what it looks like inside. Lucy looked at the name and logo of the guild curiously, and couldn't suppress her excitement. I'm back. Natsu kicked the door open. You're back. The guild members heard the noise and said to Natsu calmly without any surprise. The information about the fire dragon you gave me was fake. Natsu didn't make any preparations and kicked the guild member with buck teeth away. How should I know? I just heard it. Besides, Leila is with you. Didn't she tell you whether the information was true or not? He crawled out of the wreckage of the table and said to Natsu indignantly. What did you say? Want to fight? Natsu punched him and flew him away, and then a row of members were affected. Forget it, Natsu, forget it. Happy stood by and stretched out his claws and waved, saying nonchalantly, but he was hit by a member and flew out, like a bowling ball, constantly hitting other members on the table, and everyone's juice and wine were spilled. In an instant, the whole guild was in chaos, and everyone started to fight with fists and feet. They would fight anyone they saw. It was only when Urza was not there that these people would be very honest. Great, I really came to Fairy Tale. Lucy pretended to ignore it and immersed herself in her own joy. Is that guy Natsu back? Gray, wearing his underwear, heard the sound of fighting and immediately followed. Gray, clothes. Kana drank and reminded helplessly. How old are you guys for making such a fuss in the broad daylight? Elfman came out. Don't get in the way. Natsu and Gray worked together to punch him away. That's enough, what are you arguing about? Loki looked calm and very elegantly sat on the bench with his arms around him. Suddenly, a bottle hit Loki's head. Loki snorted, then stood up and said to his two girlfriends handsomely, For you, I'll join in the fun. Then there was a melee. Lucy looked at this scene with a daze, but she saw that the only quiet place in the guild was the counter. Mira and Lisanna stood inside the counter, and Leila sat on a chair, with Altair and Kana next to them. Newcomer. Mira smiled and looked at Lucy quietly. It's Mira Jane. Lucy's eyes flashed with admiration. When Lucy walked here, no matter what flew here, it would be bounced back by a barrier. Lucy also knew that this was Leila's magic, which she had seen before in Harjan. Lucy walked over and said, Leila, don't you stop them? Why, this is fun. Leila's eyes were full of teasing. When Lucy saw Leila's look, she reflected on why she asked him. He was such a sinister man. How could he stop this situation? Gray, I won. Ah, my underwear. Gray watched Natsu constantly swinging his underwear, and suddenly became angry. Give me my underwear back. Gray rushed up to grab his underwear, put it on without saying anything, put his hands on his waist, and an ice magic circle appeared. Then a group of people used magic, and in an instant, all kinds of magic circles appeared in the guild. Faced with such a situation, Lucy slapped Leila hard. Hey, Leila, are they going to fight with magic? Don't panic. As Leila's voice fell, a figure with crimson hair and armor appeared beside Lucy. Hey, what are you doing? Elsa. Urza. The unique voice of Urza reached everyone's ears, and everyone stopped their actions in an instant, and then looked at Urza. Sit down now. Urza glared at everyone, and her harsh tone hit everyone's heart. Everyone sat down trembling. Ha ha ha. Leila couldn't help laughing at this scene. Leila, it's you who did it. Urza shouldn't be back yet. Someone in the crowd reacted instantly, and then said to Leila with an angry face. Everyone also reacted, and they also spit at Leila, as if a surging wave, drowning Leila. What? Watch me defeat you, the fake Urza. Natsu also rushed up and punched Urza, but before he hit her, a huge fist fell down and knocked Natsu down directly. Unable to move, Makarov suddenly appeared on the side, knocked Natsu down, and said to Ultia, I'll bother you later. No problem, President. Ultia smiled and said without caring. Really? When will these brats let me rest from worry? Makarov murmured helplessly. The entire guild suddenly became silent. Makarov jumped onto the railing on the second floor and looked at everyone. You guys have caused me trouble again. Look. The council sent such a thick stack of information, all of which are complaints. First of all, Gray was very good before the smuggling group was cracked, but then he wandered around the street without clothes, and finally stole someone's underwear hanging outside and ran away. Because being naked is not good. Gray defended himself guiltily. Elfman. You abused an important person while protecting an important person. Because the other party said that men should look at their academic qualifications, and in a fit of anger. Elfman scratched his cheek and said embarrassedly. Loki, you attacked the granddaughter of Counselor Reggie, and a certain entertainment agency also demanded compensation from you. Next is Natsu. The church in Phrygia was completely burned down, Rubina's city was partially damaged, and the Narina Valley Observatory could not operate due to collapse. Arzak, Levy, Krove, Lidas, Valen, Biska. You, only let me be scolded by the council. Makarov lowered his head and trembled after hearing so many complaints. Tell those counselors to eat shit. Makarov said righteously. A flame suddenly rose in his hand, burning all the information and throwing it out. Natsu jumped up and ate the burning information. Listen carefully, the power beyond common sense is all born from common sense. Magic is not the power of miracles, but the airflow in our bodies. When it merges with the airflow flowing in nature, it will be concretely presented. It uses mental power and concentration. No, it is magic injected into one's soul. If you care about the eyes watching from above, the path of magic will not be able to move forward. There is no need to be afraid of those stupid judges. Move forward on the path you believe in. This is the wizard of fairy tale. Woohoo! Everyone began to cheer. That's why they like this guild. Their arms were raised high, and the gestures representing the bond instantly filled the entire guild. Chapter 88. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The old man was very happy. For some reason, when choosing the position and color of her emblem, Lucy chose the back of her right hand and pink. After putting on the emblem, Lucy couldn't wait to find Natsu, who was eating Natsu's special recipe: flame pasta, flame fried chicken, flame drink, a total of 1200 J. Hey, Natsu, I have an emblem. Lucy raised her right hand and stretched it in front of Natsu. Ah, really? Congratulations, Lucy. Natsu said calmly while eating. My name is Lucy. Lucy broke her defense instantly and said angrily. Wakaba was still discussing Lucy on the side, with a lewd smile on his face, discussing whether Lucy would join their team. After finishing his meal, Natsu stood up and prepared to leave. Natsu, where are you going? Wakaba asked as he watched Natsu leave. Work, I'm out of money. Natsu said without looking back. Then he walked to the commission column and glanced at the commission. Choose a job with good pay. Oh, this one is not bad, sweeping thieves for 160,000 J. That's it. Happy said. Natsu was about to speak, but was attracted by the conversation at the counter. Is my father not back yet? A childish voice reached everyone's ears. Huh. Makarov was drinking and was suddenly interrupted by Romeo's words. You're so nagging, Romeo. If you're also the son of a wizard, you should trust your father and stay home and wait. But, he clearly said you'd be back in 3 days, it's been a week and you haven't come back yet. Romeo said pitifully to Makarov with tears in his eyes. I remember he seemed to go to work at Hakob Mountain. But it's not far away. Please go find him. Don't be ridiculous. Your father is a wizard. There are no wizards in this guild who can't even handle their own affairs. Just go home and drink milk. Idiot. Romeo couldn't suppress his sadness any more, and punched Makarov. The president is so strict. Lucy said reluctantly as she watched Romeo wipe his tears and run out of the guild. Although the president said so, he is also very worried. Mira explained while wiping the wine glass. Before Lucy could continue to ask, a sound startled everyone. Hey, Natsu, don't damage the commission column. Nob pointed at the commission column that had been punched out by Natsu and complained. Natsu ignored him, but his face was heavy. He took his luggage and walked out of the guild. Lucy looked at him with some doubts. President. Is Natsu a bit bad? Nob walked over, looked at Natsu's back, and said to Makarov. That guy wants to save Mikhail. That's why the little brat is troubled. If you do this, it will only hurt Mikhail's self-esteem. Others in the guild also said that they obviously cared about Mikhail very much, but they still chose to believe in Mikhail's strength. The path you want to take is not determined by others, let him go. Makarov took out his pipe, bit it and took a puff, and said slowly with a smile on his face. Lucy, who was still unaware of the situation, watched Natsu leave with worry, but Mira on the side also told Lucy why Natsu had such a reaction. Just as Lucy finished listening to Natsu's story, a voice suddenly sounded beside her. Hey, Lucy. Leila, are you done? Yeah. Just now Leila had been processing intelligence. Kana and Altair were just about to go on a mission, and Elfman and Lisanna also took a job, so he had just left for a while, but he knew exactly what happened. Leila looked at Lucy seriously. Aren't you going to catch up? Lucy was stunned for a moment, then followed Natsu's pace, ran out quickly, and caught up with Natsu who was comforting Romeo. Leila took the wine glass and smiled at Mira. Mira, do you think Lisanna has an opponent? That child, I don't know what she thinks, but some people don't have it yet. Mira held her head and pretended to be distressed, but the tone suddenly changed, catching someone off guard. Ahem. Someone was drinking and choked directly, and then hurriedly changed the subject. By the way, I don't think we told Lucy to wear something thicker. On the other side, Lucy followed Natsu on the train and came to the town of Ganuki, which was a distance away from Mount Hakob. Then they rented a carriage in the town and set off for Mount Hakob. The wheels left traces on the snow. Lucy, who was in the carriage, didn't notice the sudden change in the surrounding weather. The carriage was equipped with a special isolation magic, so Lucy didn't feel it, and she didn't know the situation of Mount Hakob herself. So, when the carriage stopped because of heavy snow and thick snow on the road, Lucy opened the door and prepared to get off. She was dumbfounded. What's going on? Lucy curled up, leaning against the carriage, watching the heavy snow flying all over the sky. Lucy couldn't believe it. Even if we are heading up the mountain, it's summer now, and such a blizzard is too abnormal. Who told you to wear so thin? Natsu looked at her expressionlessly. You're wearing the same thing as me. Lucy felt the cold air, shivering with cold but still complaining. Well, I'm going back to town. The owner left without looking back. Wait, how are we going to get back? Lucy shouted at the carriage. She's so noisy. Natsu couldn't help saying. Hey. Happy echoed while lying on the luggage Natsu was carrying. In the white snow-capped mountains, the figures of several people seemed unusually abrupt. Lend me that blanket. Lucy couldn't hold on, and pulled a blanket out of Natsu's luggage and put it on herself. Then she tremblingly took out a key from her waist. Hit, open it, time and time, the gate of the clock constellation, Halalakim. The clock constellation star spirit, with the appearance of an old clock, can accurately tell the time in various parts of the world, but it seems that no one cares about this ability. There is a space inside the abdomen that can be hidden, which can resist any magical and physical attacks. However, since it is a closed space completely isolated from the outside world, the sound cannot be transmitted, it is a completely economical and practical star spirit, which can be used to avoid cold, avoid curses, travel, avoid rain, and escape. It is said that it also has the function of treating hypoxia, insect bites, rough skin, itching, brown spots, etc. It's a clock. Natsu looked at Halorikim curiously. So handsome. Habi also looked curious. Lucy opened the glass, then crawled in and huddled inside. Lucy's mouth moved a few times in the space, and then Halorikim conveyed Lucy's words to Natsu. I stay here, that's what she said. What are you doing here? Natsu looked at Lucy's operation in confusion. What is Mr. Makeo doing here? That's what she said. You followed me without knowing anything. Come to defeat the vicious monster Vulcan. I want to go back, that's what she said. Then I say, please go back. Natsu said indifferently, and imitated Halorikim's way of speaking. Hey. Habi responded indifferently. Chapter 89. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The snow was blown away, and the snow was blown away. Makeo, are you there? Natsu shouted loudly in the blizzard, but it didn't cause an avalanche. Were you killed by Vulcan? Swish. The sound of trampling in the snow was heard, but it was covered by the blizzard. A snow monkey rushed out and jumped down from the top of the mountain towards Natsu. Vulcan took advantage of the gravity of falling from a high place and punched hard, but Natsu, who was aware of it, turned over to avoid it, and Happy was also affected by the blow and flew out. It's Vulcan. Happy shouted after seeing it clearly. Who? After Vulcan stood firm, he raised his head and sniffed twice, then showed a surprised expression and ran to the side quickly. Hey, you monkey. Natsu was about to take action, but he noticed Vulcan's action and followed him. Lucy, who was in Halorikim's space, didn't know what was going on, and then a monkey's face suddenly appeared in front of her. It's a human woman. Vulcan opened his mouth, stuck out his tongue, and grabbed Halorikim in an extremely obscene way. You can speak human language. Natsu made a palm with his left hand and touched it with his right fist. The flames spread out, and he was ready to attack and get the whereabouts of Makeo from Vulcan's mouth, but Vulcan had already lifted Halorikim over his head and flew away quickly. Stop talking nonsense, save me quickly, that's what she said. Halorikim imitated Lucy's panicked tone vividly. A cave near the top of Mount Jacob. Why did things turn out like this, and why is this monkey so excited? Lucy pressed her hands against the glass, her eyes full of helplessness, wanting to cry but no tears. Hoo. Vulcan put Lucy in the middle, and then began to surround Lucy, doing various actions excitedly. Is this the monkey's home? But what happened to Natsu? When Lucy put her head on it to observe, Vulcan's face suddenly appeared, scaring Lucy. Woman. Lucy was still in a daze. After waiting for 2 seconds, Halorikim's alarm began to ring, and then turned into a golden light and dissipated, leaving Lucy alone facing Vulcan. Hey, wait a minute, Halorikim. Don't disappear. Lucy retreated in panic. Time's up, have a nice day. Halorikim's flat voice came from the air. Extend. Extend. Please. Lucy pleaded pitifully, but she was met with a long silence. Vulcan's eyes flashed with golden light, staring at Lucy, and Lucy trembled at this. Oh. Finally caught up. Due to the snowy mountains, Natsu, who was not familiar with the road, came late. Natsu. Lucy shouted with hope in her eyes. Monkey, where is Makeo? Natsu ran on the ice with big strides, questioning Vulcan loudly. Suddenly Natsu slipped. Ah. Oh. Ha. Puff. After sliding on the ice for a distance, he finally hit an icicle with his legs spread out. It's so lame, can't you come out in a normal way? Lucy covered her forehead with a headache and sighed heavily. Hey. Monkey. Where is Makeo? Natsu said it to Vulcan backwards again. Ha. Vulcan noticed Natsu and looked at him with confusion. You understand human language, right? Mikao, a human man. Natsu asked Vulcan. Lucy took the opportunity to sneak over to Natsu from the side. Man. Vulcan held his chin with his hand and pretended to think. That's right. Where did you hide him? Natsu pointed at Vulcan as if it was a matter of course. Wow. I've already determined that he's hidden. Lucy looked helpless. Ha! An exclamation mark flashed over Vulcan's head, and then he waved at Natsu and pointed to the other side. Oh! Communication is successful. Natsu looked at Vulcan in surprise, then he came to the place where Vulcan pointed. There was only a small hole. Vulcan pointed to the front, and Natsu lay on it and looked in the direction. Vulcan pushed hard and pushed Natsu directly to the cliff, and then Natsu fell down quickly. Natsu! Lucy ran over in panic, looking at the bottomless cliff, and shouted in fear. Men, don't need. I, like, women. After a moment, Lucy calmed down. Natsu was strong enough. Besides, Happy was not there just now. She should go and save Natsu. The most important thing now was how to deal with this stinky monkey. Lucy turned around, with murderous eyes, and said viciously, "You stinky monkey, I will teach you a lesson." She threw away the blanket and took out a golden key from her waist. Open it, the door of Taurus. Talos. Moo. Bull. I will use Talos, the strongest star spirit who signed a contract with me, to fight you. Perverted monkey. Lucy-san. You still have such a good figure. Talos crossed his arms and stared at Lucy with a squinting look. But this guy is still as perverted as ever. Lucy's eyebrows trembled slightly, the corners of her mouth twitched, and she sighed silently. Don't try to steal my woman. My woman? Vulcan's words instantly angered Taros. You can't pretend you didn't hear that. That's right, Taros. Kill that guy. Ready. Taros took out his axe from behind. The axe blade flashed with cold light, and chopped it down hard at Vulcan, but Vulcan easily dodged it, and then Vulcan ran quickly to attack, and Taros held the axe in a defensive state. Hey! Why are there more monsters? Natsu kicked Taros away. Natsu! That's one of us. One of us. Lucy screamed wildly while holding her head. It seems I can't do it. Taros fell to the ground with his head, and the axe fell to the side, and said weakly. So weak. Lucy complained. But Natsu, did Happy save you? Yes. Love. Happy used magic to fly in the air. Aren't you afraid of transportation? Does Happy's words matter? Lucy asked with doubt. What are you talking about? Happy is a partner, so disappointing. Natsu frowned and looked at Lucy with dismay. Sorry. Lucy's face was sweating and she apologized quickly. Vulcan couldn't bear it anymore and attacked Natsu, who had his back to it. Natsu didn't look back and easily took the blow, then punched Vulcan away. Everyone in Fairy Tale is a partner, whether it's the old man or Mira, even the nagging guys, Gray or Elfman, and Happy and Lucy, they are all partners, so I must bring Mikao back safely, Natsu said while fighting with Vulcan. When he was enthusiastic, a magic circle appeared under his feet, and then he kicked Vulcan. Vulcan angrily threw the ice cubes around him at Natsu, but they were all melted by Natsu. Those things are useless against fire. Natsu said with a smile, but soon he stopped laughing. That's Talos' axe. Lucy's face was solemn. Vulcan took the axe in his hand and ran towards Natsu quickly, swinging the axe at him, and Natsu dodged it one by one. However, Natsu, who was dodging back and forth, suddenly slipped. Vulcan did not miss this opportunity and chopped down fiercely. Natsu reacted quickly and took the axe blade with both hands, and fell into a stalemate. Talos, go back quickly, then the axe will disappear. Lucy ran towards Talos and shook Talos frantically. Natsu suddenly had an idea, and his hands released flames, melting the axe, turning it into several iron beads, and then eating it. then he shot at Vulcan, and Vulcan was burned by the hot iron beads, and the strength in his hands was reduced a little, and then Natsu broke free. Fire Dragon's iron fist. Natsu punched it hard and sent it flying, and Vulcan fell down and lost consciousness. Chapter 90. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two of them were so excited that they had to face each other. We won. Happy said happily. Aren't you going to ask this monkey about Mikao's whereabouts? Lucy reminded. I forgot. Natsu touched his head and said embarrassedly, while the few people were talking, a magic circle appeared on Vulcan's body. Before they could see the details of the magic circle, it emitted a dazzling light that made it impossible to look directly at it. After the light faded, the fallen Vulcan turned into Mikao. What's going on? Lucy looked at this scene, confused. It was taken over by Vulcan. Vulcan is a monster that can only survive with a human body. Happy explained on the side. While Happy was explaining, the ice behind Mikao began to break, and a big hole gradually appeared. His body began to fall backwards, and there was a cliff below. Mikao. Natsu reacted quickly and reached out to grab him, but he was still a little short. Mikao's body had begun to fall. He immediately jumped out and grabbed Mikao's ankle. Happy behind him also spread his wings and pulled Natsu. It's too hard for two people. The wings are about to disappear. Happy used all his strength, but he was almost unable to hold on. Damn it! Natsu said unwillingly, his voice full of anger. Lucy hurriedly grabbed Happy, and Natsu showed a surprised expression, but because the few people were too heavy, Lucy couldn't hold on. Fortunately, at this critical moment, Taros grabbed Happy with both hands and pulled everyone up directly. After pulling up, Lucy spread the blanket flat on the ice, and then put Mikao on it, and Natsu also raised a flame next to him. After taking off Mikao's shirt, Lucy carefully checked Mikao's physical condition. Such a serious injury. Lucy looked at the wound on his right abdomen that was more than 10 centimeters long and was still bleeding. It seems that there was a very fierce battle before he was admitted. Happy looked for bandages and disinfectant in the first aid kit on the side. Mikao. Cheer up. Natsu tried to wake Mikao. The wound on the side is too deep, and the first aid kit brought is of no use. Lucy was a little sad. With this kind of injury, there is no way to survive. Natsu was unwilling, and released a flame from his right hand and put it on Mikao's wound. Oh! Mikao screamed unconsciously. Wait, what are you doing? Lucy looked at Natsu in confusion, her eyes full of confusion and puzzlement. This is the only way now. Hold it, Mikao. Lucy, help me hold Mikao down. Natsu's voice was full of determination. Mikao kept struggling, trying to push Natsu's palm away with both hands. Lucy also reacted immediately. Natsu was ready to burn the wound with flames to stop the bleeding, and then obeyed Natsu's words and held Mikao tightly. You are not allowed to die. Romeo is still waiting for you. Natsu shouted again, trying to arouse Mikao's desire to live. Who? Ah. Who? Who? Mikao was awakened by the pain, and when he saw Natsu beside him, he knew that he had saved him. Then he let go of his resisting hands, covered his face with his hands, and tears flowed out involuntarily. Damn, it's really embarrassing. I defeated 19, but was taken over by the 20th. Mikao's voice was full of unwillingness and self-blame. I know, don't say it, the wound will split. Natsu stopped loudly. Lucy heard Mikao's record, her face was dull, and she couldn't believe it in her heart. Such a monster, she defeated 19 by herself. I'm so angry, damn it, how can I go to see Romeo now? I told you to shut up. I'll beat you up. Natsu warned, feeling the blood seeping out again. Finally, the bleeding from the wound stopped, and Mikao's abdomen was treated and bandaged with gauze. The injury stabilized, and he went back to town to see a doctor. Finally, Natsu took the injured Mikao back. Magnolia Park bench. Romeo always came here when he was in a bad mood. Just when he raised his head, He saw Natsu supporting his father and coming to him. Romeo recalled that it was because of his willfulness that Mikhail was so seriously injured. If it weren't for Natsu, maybe. Dad, I'm sorry, Thinking about it, Romeo couldn't help crying. I made you worry. Sorry. Mikhail broke free from Natsu's support, half knelt down, and hugged him tightly, live with Romeo. It's okay, because I'm the son of a wizard. Next time you're surrounded by those brats, tell them. Can your dad beat 19 monsters? Yeah. Romeo wiped away his tears and smiled happily. Brother Natsu, happy, thank you. Thank you, Sister Lucy. Yeah. Lucy turned around and waved to Romeo with a smile. After that, Natsu, who returned to the guild, proposed to Leila the idea of borrowing money, and then successfully borrowed the money, but there was interest, a classic 9 out and 13 back. The two were so scared that they didn't dare to speak. Of course they were teasing Natsu and the others, and Lucy also started looking for a house in the town. Through Myra's introduction, she found a house on Strawberry Street. At the same time, her new luggage was mailed over, so she is now cleaning the house at home, and she will take a shower after cleaning. Just when Lucy was enjoying a comfortable life, she pushed open the bathroom door and saw Natsu and Happy lying on the sofa eating snacks. My room. Lucy screamed, then she reacted instinctively and kicked Natsu and Happy. Why are you here? Because, I heard from Mira that you moved. Natsu knelt on the ground, touching his cheek that was kicked just now, and answered Lucy's question seriously. Hey. Happy raised his hand to show that it was true. So what if I heard it? So you can come in casually. Lucy pinched her waist and said angrily. Lucy pointed at Natsu's nose and said fiercely, don't you know what it means to be polite no matter how good the relationship is? Your behavior is a legal intrusion, it is a crime. What you said is very hurtful. I am the one who is hurt. Lucy said angrily, feeling that her heart was about to explode. What a great room. Happy happily left marks on the wall with his claws. Don't sharpen your claws, you feline. Lucy started to get mad. Well, what is this? Natsu stood beside the table, picked up a stack of manuscripts on the table, and asked in confusion. No, Lucy was shocked, then quickly snatched it, kicked Natsu away, and hugged the manuscript tightly. I want to see it more now, what is it? Natsu's eyes were full of curiosity. Nothing. Really, you go back. Lucy wanted to cry but had no tears. No, we are here to play. Natsu looked innocent and smiled at Lucy. So willful. Lucy looked at Natsu, wanting to cry but had no tears. I just moved, there is nothing to play, go back after drinking black tea. Lucy changed her clothes and made black tea for Natsu and Happy. What a cruel guy. Natsu said a little hurt. Hey. Happy also agreed. What cruelty. Lucy felt like her head was about to explode. By the way, let me see the guys and all the keys in Lucy's hand. Natsu suddenly said with great interest. What guys and the keys? They are celestial spirits. Lucy explained helplessly. How many celestial spirits has Lucy signed contracts with in total? Happy asked. 7. Lucy told Natsu and the others about her 7 keys and constellations. Cancer. Is it a crab? Natsu opened his mouth excitedly, and there was still fire in it. Crab. Happy drooled, raised his hands above his head, and had the same reaction as Natsu. I was attracted to an inexplicable place again. Lucy sighed helplessly. By the way, the Canis Minor Nicola I bought in Harjan has not yet signed a contract. Lucy suddenly remembered something. Just right. Let me show you the process of the celestial mage and the celestial spirit signing a contract. Lucy said to them with great kindness and pride. Oh. Natsu and Happy were extremely excited. Do we need to press a bloody handprint or something? It seems like my butt will hurt. Why is it my butt? She complained about the two of them crazily, then Lucy stopped paying attention to them, took out the key of Canis Minor in her hand, and raised it solemnly in front of her. I am the one who connects the road to the celestial spirit realm. You, respond to my call and go through the door. That the key touched an invisible door in the air. Open it, the door of Canis Minor, Nicola. Puff. The whole body is white, with a yellow horn on the tip of the nose, a round face, and a black round puffy hand. Lucy smiled at Nicola. Her heart was about to melt. Natsu and Happy on the side couldn't believe it, cold sweat on their foreheads, and then tremblingly said, "Don't worry about it. It's not a failure." Lucy retorted. Chapter 91. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two of them were so cute. Ah. So cute. Lucy couldn't help but hold Nicola in her arms and rubbed her face against him. Puff. Prue pressed her hand on Lucy's chest and cried. Is there? Natsu looked at her carefully and couldn't see where she was cute. Nicola's door doesn't require too much magic power, and is a popular astral spirit. Lucy explained. Natsu, humans are full of themselves. Yeah, as expected, Louise is scary. My name is Lucy, and I heard you even when you said it so loudly. Then, let's sign the contract. Then, under the gaze of Natsu and Happy, Lucy took out a notebook and a pen, then sat on the ground and began to ask Nicola. What about Monday? Pyewu. Nicola shook his head. What about Tuesday? Pyewu. Nicola nodded. Natsu took a sip of tea, and Happy also took out his fish and started to eat it. Facing the conversation between Lucy and Nicola, he said with a dull look, It's so ordinary. After Lucy and Nicola signed the contract, Natsu said, It's quite simple. Lucy shook her head, and then said to Natsu very seriously, It does look like this on the surface, but this is a very important matter. The celestial wizard regards the contract, that is, the agreement, as more important than anything else, so I will never violate the contract. Yeah. Natsu nodded meaningfully after hearing this. By the way, we have to give him a name. Isn't he called Nicola? That's a general name. Lucy said, and then immediately thought of a name, and then called Nicola. Come here, Prue. Natsu tilted his head and looked at Lucy and Nicola. The meaning of this name is very cute. Right, Prue. Prue is obviously a Canis Minor, but he can't bark. How strange. Happy asked in confusion. You can't meow either. Lucy retorted. At this time, Prue jumped down from Lucy's arms, first ran to one side happily, then swung his hands back and forth, and finally raised them above his head and put them together. Prue. You said it very well. Natsu lay on the ground in shock, raised his thumb, and said to Prue excitedly. Pooh. Prue also responded to Natsu. It seems that they can communicate. Lucy opened her mouth wide and looked at the one person and the star spirit in surprise, with incredible words written on her face. Hearing Prue's words, Natsu also recalled that they were in the snow mountain before. Fortunately, Lucy followed him, otherwise, something might have happened. Is that so? Natsu thought seriously. What's wrong? Lucy looked at Natsu thinking and asked curiously. Natsu, what's wrong? Happy also asked. Okay. I've decided. I agree with Prue's proposal. Let's team up. Natsu stood up and looked at Lucy with a bright smile on his face. Team up. Lucy looked at Natsu in confusion, frowning slightly, as if thinking about something. I see. Happy jumped up happily, and then said to Lucy, although all members of the guild are partners, people with particularly good relationships will gather together to form a team. If a commission that is difficult for one person is completed by a team, it will be much easier. That's a good idea. It seems very fun. Lucy thought it was very interesting after hearing it, and replied happily. Very good. Then it's decided. Natsu raised his hands and shouted loudly. The contract is established. Lucy clapped her hands with a smile on her face. Hey! Puff! Let's go to work right away. Look! I've already chosen it. Natsu heard Lucy's agreement and immediately slapped the commission he had prepared on the table. Really, you are too impatient. Lucy said shyly, thinking that it was Natsu who recognized her strength and invited her to join the team. Lucy picked up the commission on the table, Shiloh CI store. It's very close, I seem to have heard of it, but I also seem not to have heard of it. Lucy was still carefully checking the content of the commission, but she was very excited. No way, just taking a book from the house of the Duke of Ebar, there is 200,000 J. How about it? It's a very profitable job, right? Natsu said proudly, and he quickly picked out this commission, but Lucy ignored Natsu, and continued, after reading it, la 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 la. Lucy looked at the photo of Duke Abar and the introduction about him. In short, he is a pervert who likes women and is currently recruiting blonde maids. Lucy took the commission, her eyes almost popped out, and then she turned her head mechanically and looked at Natsu and Happy in a panic. Lucy is blonde, right? Natsu smiled evilly. Yes. Just sneak in as a maid. Happy also laughed secretly. You guys have been. Lucy reacted slowly, I was set up. Astral wizards attach great importance to contracts, right? It's amazing. Natsu stretched out his index finger and thumb to hold up his chin, his eyes flashing, and a successful smile on his face. You lied to me. That's terrible. Okay, let's go, Lucy. I don't want to be a maid. Let's practice a little. Call the Harpy Master and see. I don't want to call the cat. At this time, in the guild, the Shadow Gear team stood in front of the commission column. Levi's eyes kept searching on it, huh? A job of 200,000 J for a book in the Abar mansion. Who took it? Troy said uncertainly. Yeah. Natsu said he wanted to invite Lucy to go with him. Mira said to them. Ah. I was still hesitating whether to go. Levi lowered her head and said with some regret. Lucy was still carefully checking the content of the commission, but her emotions were extremely excited. No way, just taking a book from the house of the Duke of Abar, there is 200,000 J. Levi, it's good if you don't go. The client just contacted me. Makarov said to Levi at this time. President, do you want to cancel it? Levi turned her head and looked at Makarov and asked. No, the reward is increased to 2 million J, that's what he said. Makarov couldn't help but smile when he heard the news. 10 times. 2 million for one book. That's the reward for the crusade. The other members of the guild stood up immediately after hearing the news, and were all shocked. By the way, where did Leila go? I haven't seen him recently. Mira, do you know? Makarov asked. I don't know, he said he went out to see a friend. That kid, he's been missing all day. Alas, I wanted him to accompany me to a meeting. In the carriage on the road to the Hiroshi gate, Lucy held her head with her hand and said jokingly, how does it feel to sit in the carriage, master? See. I can see the underworld. Natsu leaned on the seat, lowered his head, and said uncomfortably. I'm the master. Happy protested. Stop making so much noise, cat. Lucy said impatiently. Then Lucy remembered the content of this job and said easily, it's a pretty simple job. Huh. You were reluctant at first, but now you're so enthusiastic. Of course. After all, this is my first job. Besides, the other party is a perverted old man, and I'm still very confident in my charm. Lucy said, posing a seductive posture towards Happy. It's a bit hard for cats to judge. Unfortunately, Happy couldn't feel it at all. Let me say this in advance, because you have nothing to do, the distribution of rewards is 8:1:1. Lucy said to the two. Lucy is 1. Happy said as a matter of course. I'm 8. Lucy glared at Happy when she heard what he said. Wait a minute, we will also do things. Natsu added, trying to suppress his discomfort. What? Lucy asked. After Lucy asked, Natsu fainted, and Happy simply finished for Natsu, if you are caught, we will rescue you. I will not make that mistake. Lucy said speechlessly. The same is true for fishing. Most of the bait will be sacrificed. Happy then gave Lucy an example to illustrate. Am I the bait? Lucy was furious, pinching Happy's face and gritting her teeth.